Good morning, Blue Eagles on tone. Where are we today? 11. How much is there to say about like this day? We are still having a portal day, last portal day. How was this ride for you? As I say, I don't write portal days. I don't know. I like the awareness of a portal day. I can't tell the difference. Excuse me. I think I'm going to read the quote. I want to start with the quote and the tune, and then I'm going to talk about stem cells. Okay, let's hear it. Only when you learn to control your thought waves will you experience what is called inhabiting the real. Only when you learn to control your thought waves will you experience what is called inhabiting the real. Well, if that ain't a multidimensional quote, then I don't know what is. Okay, let's very quickly rush through this. We don't have time. We left timelessness yesterday. Today we're time bound. Eagle, vision, create mind. Tone 11, dissolve, releasing, liberation. We dissolve something in order to release liberation. Me likes. We're in the wave spell of the red serpent. We're using vision to dissolve the creation of the release of the liberated mind. No, a liberating mind in order to, I'm making this up by the way, but I'm liking that, in order to liberate our life force. And you have to just liberate the life force, because survival instinct, that's just automatic. Survival is automatic. Isn't that amazing? It isn't, because of reasons. And when we figure that out, the rules of the games change. The games we get to play here. One key to bind them all. What is it? One ring to bind them all. Is it right? One ring to rule them all. One ring to find them. One ring to bring them all. And in the darkness bind them. What would that mean? I have no idea. I have to control my thought forms, my thought waves. So I'm not going there now. Spectral Eagle. The spectral tone is always super interesting because it releases us from the wave. It releases us from the thought waves. It clears up the debris of creation so that the created can just be and shine. It's like forging the one ring to bind them all. I don't remember now. Was he looking for 3 rings, or was it just one ring described 3 times? And what are we binding in the darkness? Give my mind a code like that and it just doesn't let it go. There's another quote I want to look for. play the tune. Didn't I say I was going to play the tune? I dissolve my blocks, let go of the past, and I am free to move forward. I'm going to return to this quote in a heartbeat because there's some thought I had about that yesterday. And I like regurgitating my thoughts from yesterday. Here comes the tune. I hope this wasn't impossibly loud. The equivalent kin today is the Galactic Wizard. That's really nice. I do not understand, I admit, why or how the equivalent kins are created. It's kin 34 and today's kin 115. If I look here, equivalent kin 34, where would that be? 20? Why is it not? Yeah, okay, never mind. This quote about the letting go, the eagle has the world bridger as its occult friend. This one on tone 3, electric world bridger. Oh, isn't that interesting? The electric world bridger. Oh no, the electric world bridger comes out of the seed wave spell, and we have the seed here. In the analog position, always on the eagle, and then the serpent in the antipode. First of all, I want to say something about letting go because I think, therefore I am right. Oh, my. What do we do if we don't get to laugh about ourselves? Oh, Chrono is also an eagle today. Crystalline eagle. I don't know how these are determined either. A lot of eagle power today, and this 11th eagle is guided by the eagle. I'm suspecting that sometimes we make our lives a little bit difficult when we're trying to let go. I mean, letting go is the most natural thing in the world. Like, imagine you were drawing as a child or as an adult, and you have a bunch of pens in front of you, and now you've colored in red, and now you're like, wait, I have to let go of this red pen. But I like this red. I don't know how to let go. You start taking up a second pen because you don't want to let go of the red pen. Why wouldn't you want to let go of the red pen? Well, maybe there isn't either another pen, or maybe I just don't get to ever pick it up again. Maybe in 2 minutes my hands don't work anymore. Maybe the red pen will just mysteriously disappear. Who knows? And somewhere we learn this, and we learn to hold on, what we do not need to continuously, tensely usually, hold on to. Like, yeah, it's identifiable as an inability to let go, but the trying to let go, when you have that, it's like going on a glass bottom bridge when you're afraid of heights. Okay, it's extreme. I'm sorry. Or going on some high place when you're afraid of heights. And just like, just go there. Just do it. It's like, no, man, there's a reason you're holding on. There's a reason we're holding on. There's a reason we haven't let go. And if we don't understand that reason, any forceful attempts, not all of them will fail, of course. Sometimes a forceful attempt to let go is exactly the medicine, because that's the way to realize, oh, I didn't need to hold on to that. So, Tatiana, is there anything to say? No, yeah, but I want to talk about the focus here, because sometimes, very, very specifically, that does work, to like very consciously like let go. I can't think of an example now, but yeah, there are plenty. Um, the eagle's focus, I've spoken about this before, it's just like spread wings and fly. It just knows now I gotta go. I wanna go. It doesn't think about it either, huh? This mind of the eagle is not the ruminating, analytical mind. This eagle mind is something else. And the amazing thing about this eagle mind, this blue eagle mind, is that it has both a very sharp focus at very long range, clarity at range, clarity, not fixation, clarity, ability to see, great detail, and it has the overview, and that's rare. And that's really, that's, I think that's something in me says that's a rare skill. And it's okay. Maybe it doesn't it doesn't do that at the same time. You either have an overview or you hone in on the detail, but you know, there's it like, you know, the same mind can be very capable of both. If you're running a symposium on dream spell calendar and you have 150 guests invited and 50 guest speakers, and it runs over 3 days, and you're catering and all of that, you depends, yeah, you may have an overview, but you may also hone in on all the nitty-gritty details. I'm not sure, but that's what this mind would be. That's what this represents. And that's to me, that's maybe that example wasn't appropriate, but I don't know. But it's like holding the ability to multidimensional vision. The overview is a different dimensional way of viewing, especially holding an overview, holding a bird's eye view over different dimensions, as they can be held from with the overview. I mean, and still be able to zoom in. For many people where that works naturally, they may not even be aware that that's how they work, because it's just so natural. On eagle days and eagle waves, oh, I remember not the last eagle wave spell, I think the second last one ago, or maybe even 3, I can't remember, but there was one eagle wave spell. I mean, seriously, the shift from the wave spell before to this one, to the eagle, was, to me, was like exactly like taking off. and flying up. And nothing bothered me. I couldn't be bothered by myself. I couldn't be bothered by the things that really bothered me 2 days earlier and for months before. It was like nothing matters. I'm cruising. It's such a cool way as well from that perspective. It's really, really great to experience that eagle perspective of like, yeah, well, wait, just take some time and get an overview, whatever it takes. Maybe it's quick, maybe it takes time. Quick also takes time, just less time. Yo. So what was that? What was that second quote I read that got me into this? I wasn't paying terribly much attention. I dissolve my blocks, let go of the past, and am free to move forward. Yeah, let go of the past. That's one of those things, just let go of the past. Just let go of the past. And some of us are like, uh, um, what do you mean? How do you let go of the past? That's a good question. I was about to give an answer, and then something immediately piped up and says, but, uh, mm, uh, so, yeah. How do you not see a pink elephant? How do you not imagine a pink elephant? It's like that. So, the mind needs direction, like the GPS. The creative force, and vital force is a creative force. It needs direction. The more time we spend with I don't want to do this, the more time we spend in the energy of I don't want, as an example, this negative. Oh, and I've really explored that in the last couple of years. It landed me in, for me, my experiences. It kind of like too much, the more of that, it's like, how can I say, it stops my energy flow. It stops my life force. It stops me because like I don't want, wait, like, I'm having an image of I have some gadget and I have a plug in my hand and I need a socket for energy to use this thing. It's like I don't want to put it in that socket. No, I don't want to put it in that socket. No, I don't want to put it in that socket. So I'm standing there, not getting this thing to work. Not, I'm just, nothing can happen here, you know. And maybe when it comes to life force, it's not like the example I just made, but it's actually like a river. I don't want this water to flow in that direction, so I have to block it. No, I don't want it to flow there either. I block it. I don't want it to flow there either. I block it, and I create a dam, or a leakage, or a spill, or a. What happens with that life force? It pumps up it energizes the I don't want. And you can observe yourself. If you want to self-diagnose that, my self-diagnosis is I have a lot of energy invested in, not currently maybe, I don't know if that's true, but like when I'm in that state, and I've really been in that state, I can suddenly have a lot of energy on complaining, a lot of energy on rallying against something, or a lot of energy defending my no, or something. It's funny, like I have no energy to like go where I want to go. I may know where I want to go. I may know what I want to do. I may not, but there's just like trickle, trickle, little star. This water will not go far. But when it comes to like the non-action, the just resistance, anything that holds the energy of I don't want this, wow, that gets energized in a heartbeat because it's safe, because it's energized. And I really want to invite non-judgment here because Like, what the heck is non-judgment? But I want to invite compassion because there's reasons for all that. And they are good reasons. I mean, there are reasons that want to protect us. There are reasons that want to support us. Every force is a life force that wants to support and nurture life in some way. And within our own scope, it wants to protect us. So if we have these patterns where maybe fear takes over or something, then it might be good to understand. It might be good to ask the eagle for help, to help the serpent. And now I want to talk about stem cells and multidimensionality, because our bodies are the shit. And so is my cup of coffee. So it's my cup of coffee over here. So I'm going to pause this for a second and then continue, because I don't want my cold coffee. Oh, deliciousness is certainly proof that God loves us. Okay, stem cells. It's amazing. Talking about multidimensionality, so we have these cells that embryonic stem cells, they are the ones that are still in like superposition. There's a whole cell cluster. What did I learn? Between day 7 and between days 12 and, between days 14. Okay, I don't know, I can't repeat it. But for a while there are a lot of them, and then they start deciding, or something informs them until the information threshold is reached as to which organ wants to be formed. And there's no war there. That's totally yellow star business here. Yellow seed and yellow star. And this eagle has the analog, always the yellow seed. And seeds and cells, seed potentials. The wherever, whoever, whatever gives the stem cell the information, wherever that comes from, to then it forms whatever cells in harmony with each other, in view of there should be a full body. In our case, a human body. In other cases, other bodies. And now we can reverse engineer cells. It's always, this kind of research is so fast that, yeah, but I think that still is a fact. Sometimes you like listen to something that's 3 years old and it's like, you're outdated. You can reverse engineers. We can reverse engineer any cells and create from my cells, my body's stem cells. I mean, my own genetics are in there, and then somehow put them back into my body and give them the information, however they do that, I wonder, to build a new organ or to repair something here. I was thinking we should be able to do this, to regrow our own teeth. I mean, that's like, please. And I mean, it's a very, very fantastic concept. And to understand our body does this possibly all of the time anyway. We just may not have realized, or we may not have looked out for it. But there's nothing to say or my mind says, my imagination says, if it's possible, if I can think of it, if it's theoretically possible, then it's happening somewhere, right? So in the quantum field, my creator mind, and I don't need to force matters and prove this. I'm just imagining things because I like it. We can do this with our minds in our own bodies. We can repair. And even if the nitty-gritties is too complex, the eagle can communicate and cooperate with the serpent, and has to. And it does. And inform it to always, just to naturally repair. The blueprints are always there. And if, for example, in the collective, on the planet, as far as I have seen, it is not a natural part of anywhere. I haven't received that information. People regrow their teeth. Oh, most of the indigenous at some point have none left. And, well, it's kind of like a sign of, it doesn't matter. We can repair teeth, yeah. By the way, the means that we do, whether we put bridges in there, whatever it's called in English, or these other kind of artificial teeth, whatever we do for our dental fixation. But imagine, I mean, should be by rights, we should be able to regrow our teeth. And maybe the second, third teeth could be even, if we had really poorly aligned teeth, they could be well aligned teeth. I mean, this would be a cell repositioning itself in superposition, and maybe we don't need to reverse engineer cells. Sometimes science, as forward as they in their own trajectory are, and in their own field, and in 4D, doing that is pretty amazing. But maybe us living in multi-dimensions, all of us are, as we are becoming more aware, and through the white wizard and the red serpent, right? You need to look at all the friends on the serpent, and on the seed, and on the wizard, and on the eagle. And maybe all we have the fearless warrior there. We have the seed, we have the eagle, and we have this wizard there. And we have eagle and wizard share the seed. They share the serpent. And the wizard also has the hand, healing, knowing, accomplishing. I mean, there you go. Quantum healing. That's how it works. And how can it translate into the language of cells? Well, maybe reverse engineering to a stem cell, and then bringing out a healthy or healed version, or an upgraded version of the organ, or the organ system, or the body, or the whatever. And can we investigate that within ourselves? Surely. The thing is, how would we do that? Say I have an issue in my body. The minute I want to do the healing and I focus on the issue, I can't, because I'm collapsing the quantum position always back into the issue. So the methodology has to be one by which the focus and the information given to the stem cells, quote unquote stem cells, even the proverbial stem cell, the mental image, the projection, the whatever. And I mean, when that really that's where hypnosis really works. That's where a lot of that stuff works. It doesn't always work because the focus can be too strong on the issue and we keep collapsing back to the issue. Or there's actually a root or a link to something else which doesn't permit the change yet because the link to that other thing needs to be let go of. World bridger. And to the seed, the world bridger is electric. And today, the world bridger is electric, the occult. And it's the seed wave spell underneath here, underneath the serpent wave spell. So maybe we're onto something with this stem cell healing business. I mean, we don't have to talk about it in terms of stem cell. This healing ourselves, we can, use any language. Even the body, even the third dimension is kind of like, it's an analogy. It's a way, it's like a projection through which we experience. And for the collective, it's the same. For my own life, each thought, it energizes. If I say I don't want to plug in there, I energize my resistance instead of my flow. However, just a little aside, that builds up an energy reservoir like a dam, or at least if I start becoming aware of it, like note to self, I'm thinking now, as long as I frustrate myself being aware of it and thinking, why can't I move this whole lot over there and energize something? Because there's some decision issue. If I frustrate myself, I add insult to injury type of thing. If I say, okay, I'm building a Hoover Dam over here for all this energy, like creating, Abraham Hicks always says, like we have this vortex, right? It doesn't get lost. All that we create, the energy is there. So when I finally go into the release, it's gonna be so, I'm gonna be so energized because all of this energy is waiting here. Especially if I'm not complaining all the time, then I'm really leaking that energy. Then it's not stored like in a battery. And here comes another aside. Wait, where am I coming from? I do want to go back there. Electric world bridger. Energizing. And the collective. I want to go back there. But we're struggling in our solar power or any power business with, I mean, our challenge is not so much to convert the energy. Our challenge is how do we store it so that, most of the solar panels, that's an energy you need to use pretty much immediately. The batteries to store it don't even often last like a whole night, or maybe the very expensive ones. My family who have solar panels on their roofs, they have to use less energy intense, like just light and TV during the night. They don't use washing machine during the night, or if they do have to, then they have to feed from the grid, from the regular grid. Their batteries don't, whatever they did manage to store from the solar doesn't feed that. It's not enough. And I mean, wouldn't it be amazing if we were driving electric cars that convert the energy that they need instantly from the sun or from wherever, not needing to via a battery, and even during the night, or to have battery that lasts throughout a night. Either way, but if I'm thinking of myself now, and I'm constantly being supplied with energy, and actually probably more than I need. I mean, there's an infinite supply of energy in every quantum iota of whatever around me. There is no around you. Where is all that energy? Well, it is somewhere, and we have access to it. Can we figure out? We have already figured out. Good morning, Tesla. But I guess we're close to it. We are there. It's like our bodies converted from food. Our bodies store. We have energy all the time. We're not eating all the time. Okay. We are going to get there. Very exciting. So now I want to talk about, so my own thoughts accumulate into clusters, focal clusters, and they become auto-generated. They become everything is in its own right magnetic. The seed wave has the magnetic seed. Every of the 20 seals at some point is magnetic. So everything that exists has its magnetic. It has its own magnetism and attracts to itself and attracts itself to like energy, like frequencies. We're living in an, as Abraham says, in an attraction-based universe. So in the collective humanity, there is a lot of us thinking and feeling. I use the word thinking now. So the more of us think certain thoughts or invite certain possibilities or imagine certain outcomes, the more that's going to manifest. And therein lies some of the power that the main media is actually losing, because more they, what is it called, main media, the regular media, like through a lot of portrayal of all the wars going on and all these problems going on, they keep us engaged and we keep feeding that wolf by our attention. And there are certain elements on the planet, the media included, that benefit fantastically. I mean, just to think, there are all these journalists and media people. How come I always ask myself, how can journalists go into areas of war and be somehow safe to walk through them? If I was a warring party, I'd be like, no, I don't care about you. I just want to, I don't know. But of course, they kind of enjoy a kind of immunity because both sides of a war are fed. The war is made by something that wants the war. Often very much more than a solution. There's some, like if you have a coup, you can tell the outcome was not, the desire is not the war. The desire is the change in regime or something. And that gets achieved, or it doesn't. Either way, it's not usually an ongoing thing. And there are situations where maybe it's a little bit of an ongoing thing and then it gets decided. When you have these like ongoing wars forever and ever and ever, very often there is like, and especially if it runs through the media, stuff that runs through this mainstream media, the vested interest is in feeding financially, becoming, like the war itself is the moneymaker. And that includes these media machines. So as we're removing our attention from those media machines, the media machines lose revenue. And then that's really going to be a problematic because, they're linked to the war machine. Anyway, never mind that part. The more of us think, let's say, peace, we send light to our governments. We choose we don't send resistance. We don't send, we can send angry energy. We're achieving nothing. We can complain. We're achieving nothing. We can send light and say, you guys are well, in the best case, doing the best you can. Or like, you guys you're serving profit. You're serving profits. You're not serving the people. And you're doing it just, like whatever. So we don't need to fight against you. It's just we're envisioning leadership that's wise. We envision, we want, we choose. And we choose it through our minds. Our choices are made through our imagination, blue night. And through our words. The red dragon starts a thing, gives birth to a thing. our creations are birthed through the red dragon. The white wind speaks it into existence. The red dragon is still very much the field of it's the stem cell, or even before the stem cell is created. The white wind may be the level where the stem cell is created, or where, yeah, it would have to be, because the blue night, the decision into the cell, what cell does the stem cell become, what organs get formed, that's the yellow seed. So the superposition is still partially is the blue night. So we first have this force that can create this. Anything we choose, we are creating. Somewhere, somehow, it does express itself. Our choices have weight. We can, of course, unchoose any time, or we can, re-choose whatever, change things at all times. The reality is malleable. The white wind, our thoughts, our words, our breath. God breathed life into his lifeless creature, did he not? And then it goes into the blue night, which is all things in creation have their place to exist, whether it's in the unconscious or the conscious. Everything you think gets created, everything we think gets created, but an individual point of consciousness will only have a limited, out of the infinite options that have been created, that are created, a limited version is experienced at any point in time. And that is chosen through the blue night. And the blue night also tells us the other stuff is there. It can be chosen and turned into a yellow seed, and then into a living, breathing experience with its own intrinsic life force and its own will to survive. So the more of us focus, yellow seed, blue eagle, on something like world peace, we don't have to know how. We just have to know, like, yeah, we choose leadership with wisdom, and they're coming. The people who are going to be leaders in 20, 30 years, they're already born, and they're looking at this world, and they're seeing what's not working. We have to trust them. We have to trust ourselves. We have to trust our own creation of the future, surely. This is our planet. And at least to the degree that it is our own experience, in 20 years' time, that is my experience of my life, whoever I is. If I can't trust that, if I cannot trust that I will live and that I will experience life on this planet in a very interesting, very wonderful life full of, opportunities. I don't even feature war in my life experience of the future. And seemingly every 30 years, no wait, or 40 or 50 years, 40 years or so, every couple of years, maybe less, whatever, we need to be injected with the fear of war, because that way you already feeding into the children the fear of the coming war, and that affects their ability to create. It affects them deeply. It affects them on a stem cell level. It affects their longevity. It affects everything. So we may want to be mindful of that, at least in our own lives, and maybe very much if we are around children. I don't know what responsibility we have for anyone else's life. I think the children are coming in often way, way wiser than ourselves, because they already have the upgrade. They come from Uber Eagle view from the other side. So unless they get heavily indoctrinated with our limitation, which may be the case, if we can let them be who they are, they will be the ones to bring in the solution. And we should just totally trust them. and be very transparent with them, as they are anyway, most of them very, I mean, most of us, anyone's listening here, will know in your childhood, you saw right through all the crap. It's like you had that vision that your parents and the elder generations, maybe not if you're from a more, at least if you come out of a more westernized world, I think you may well have been the one with the upgraded software that could see context and bigger picture and understood things that even the parents didn't understand. So yeah, solutions are of course here, and we support ourselves and we shift ourselves into the timeline of those who bring the solution by choosing that. We've been given free choice, so whatever timeline, whatever expression of reality we ride, whatever thought waves we foster, whichever wolves we feed, that determines the, the experience of this planet that we have. And we may also always be aware that we are not here to interfere in other people's choices. So if we have war and sickness and whatever, but you don't, well, then that is still choices people have made. And what can we do? Send them light and appreciation and believe. You don't need to do anything, actually. Just let them be. If you want to do something, send light. Send them energy, send them light. But all of it is on the assumption that we know better what's better for the planet. And assuming that no suffering is better than suffering, it's an assumption. It's an assumption worth questioning. So, to trust the divine, to trust the game plan here, to trust each other and ourselves that however we have laid out this reality, whatever we are doing, whatever is going on, we may not have the full picture and we may not understand why things are the way they are. And it's very easy. We have learned to be righteous. We have learned a moral code. We have learned what's good and what's bad. And how often do we tell even our children what they should want, what they should choose, instead of actually letting them kind of experience the consequences of their choices. Let them eat so much chocolates and sweets until they throw up. That'll cure them once and for all. Just let them have nothing but sweets for 3 days. Just let them eat only what they want. That's going to cure them very quickly. And they're going to go off it like quickly. And it's good to, why do we have milk teeth? Why do we have this first teeth? Because there's no consequence. Let that age do what it wants. Guide them by showing them something else, but then still, like, there's obviously like asking a 3-year-old what do you want to eat, or asking a 5-year-old what do you want to eat for dinner. It's like, no, I think no, you eat what I put in front of you. I was raised like that, and I totally see that too early certain choices are not usually conducive. But what do I know? Maybe like I wouldn't ask, because asking in that moment is actually overloading the system, and also you're interfering with the development, because that child is going its own mind. If you're now interjecting its path with a question, you're distracting it from itself. Later on that's okay, but like if it tells you its choice, then maybe that's the place to take note of the choice that it's iterating. And that's teaching us presence. I'm letting you know what I need or what I want, and you're taking note of it. That's great. That's connection. If you're interfering with me all the time by asking me questions that I really don't want to answer, or that are like overwhelming me right now, how do I know now, especially as a 5-year-old child, how do I know now what I want to eat in 2 hours? Like, that is impossible. And every child will show you You said you wanted this, now you don't want this anymore. Like, duh. That's so funny. Anyway, each to their own. I'm really not preaching. It's like, I don't know how it works. Maybe that's exactly how it works. So, stem cells, choices, eagles. The eagle looking at the serpent, and the serpent to a degree. I mean, the eagle too. This is all third dimensional. The wizard is less. I mean, the minute we have something like an eagle or a moon, we have third dimensional objects that we identify with that. But nothing is just third dimensional. Nothing is just fourth dimensional. Some things are not fourth dimensional, they are three dimensional. They're not in the fourth dimension. Is it? I don't know if it is. But anyway, but we are multidimensional. So this life force, depending on the choices we make, on this warrior, is this fearlessness of the warrior. Fear. You can't, he points, he, she, the warrior, it, that archetype, points directly at fear by speaking about fearlessness. And the fear is an absolute interference with life force. It blocks it. It blocks the healthy expression of the cell. Fear has real consequences. It's not like darkness just being the absence of light. Fear is a force and you can feel it. It affects the biology instantly and blocks it. So if we're removing blocks, we need to use the warrior. And these three kins, seed, serpent, world bridger, and on the other side of the circle, wizard, eagle, warrior. These six, if you visualize the circle and you see three lines through the center, from wizard to seed, from eagle to serpent, and from warrior to world bridger. And the warrior is the occult of the serpent and the antipode of the world bridger. They're always the antipodes of each other. So the seed is the analog of the three on the left are the antipodes to the three of the right. But then there are these links, never mind, you know them. If you just see these three and now you see them starting to vibrate or like oscillate, just like I'm seeing something like these plates. Is this Chinese art? Is this like plates? You're rotating these plates on a stick. It's not just comes out of the Chinese art, but like like it's a skill. And then you have 10 sticks, and all of them have plates on top. It's a fantastic thing to watch where people can do this. It's amazing. It's such a dance. And then you pick it up, and then you throw the plates up, and then you catch them with a stick, and you put them back down, and then you start juggling with these rotating discs and sticks, and amazing what we're capable of. And you're like oscillating this on a frequency level, and we understand what we're oscillating. What's the opposite of fearlessness? Because you can't, now I'm seeing like that will, if there's fear, that oscillation cannot happen. There's a block, so the frequencies can't swing, can't do their thing. There's no, there's you know what I mean? Instead of it, like, so we want to be syncing ourselves to this, and this 11th tone, it lets go of the blocks. It allows everything now to resonate, everything in its truth, everything in its own frequency, harmoniously. And then the others start. You can start this at any point in the Tzolk'in. Here I'm having the center point of eagle and serpent because that's where we are today. That's what we're doing today. You can do eagle and serpent any other day, but you can do any of the others any other day. The ultimate result will be the same or not. It doesn't matter. You choose. As this resonates, these three, these six, they start like a tuning fork vibrating the others in some pattern. Like by like frequencies, through the analog, through the antipod, through whatever, they start vibrating, and that forms all the patterns of life. All of it is fed by life force. All of it is created by vision. All of it is mind. All of it is, quantum fields. They're saying now they're quantum fields. They're fields, not particles, not waves. They're fields. And these fields form geometric patterns, sacred geometry. There you have it. And each needs to be free to to do its rhythm, its pulse, its fluctuating, to form itself. So when you're going 1, 2, 3, let's say, if you're going 1, 2, 3, yeah, you can go analog, then it's magnetic, world bridger or warrior, lunar, serpent and eagle, electric, seed and wizard. If you're going analog, which is backwards. If you're going forwards, you're going magnetic, seed, magnetic, wizard, lunar, serpent and blah, blah, eagle and electric, world bridger, and then those three, that creates, that's electricity, that creates power. And it's interesting that in this particular case the lunar tone is the same, the stabilizer. The challenge is being stabilized. They stabilize each other, they stabilize the whole wave. The lunar tones stabilize the spins, and they are related to each other because in the wave of they are related to tone 12. In the same wave, the antipode of the lunar tone is tone 12, and the occult of the lunar tone is also tone 12. So the lunar eagle, the antipode of it is of course the lunar serpent. The occult is the crystal, tone 12, world bridger. But in the wave spell of the wizard, where the eagle is lunar, the serpent, who's also lunar over here, is crystalline, and it has the crystalline eagle as its antipode. So there's a direct link between 2 and 12. Stability, complex stability, tone 12, is what balances, what stabilizes our challenge. So in that we're stabilized through combining the antipode and the analog and the occult. And if you start resonating on all those frequencies, like, watch what happens. Oh, I mean, you're doing it already. You're always doing it. You're always doing it. We are always doing that. And sometimes we block. Sometimes we put a spanner in the wheel, and then it's like, I didn't press on the brakes. Why is this thing not moving anymore? And if that happens while we're at full speed, not pretty. Might cause us to die. And death just means another kind of world bridger. Sometimes it's like world bridging gone wrong. Oops. So, well, no worries. You in your own experience, I suppose you don't ever die. It's just for the rest of us, you're suddenly gone. So we are responsible for your death. I mean, that is hilarious. I'm sorry, that is hilarious. So, okay. Are we done yet? Yes. It's time calling. Yes, I have to leave in... What time is it? 2 hours. Okay, is enough time to do everything I need to do in the meantime? I have no idea. But time, as we have learned from whoever we want to choose to quote, and we can quote from the science world, we can quote from the spirit world, we can quote ourselves. Why do we always have to quote some smart other person? Time is not a fixed thing. So 60 seconds aren't always the same length as 60 seconds. They're not length. Time is flexible. And as soon as we get like a little bit, get some distance to this 1260 ticking of the bloody clock, so regular, totally unlike our heartbeat. I mean, what is this? If we need heart variability to for long life, for heart health, maybe this 1260 really locked us into these short lives. I mean, in biblical forefathers lived 900 years and what, how many, and that's just kind of recorded history. Before then, where they didn't need to talk about themselves, and maybe there's some kind of jump that the ones who lived 900 years didn't have a need to talk about the ones who lived much longer. It's comes later that we lived shorter, that we started talking about the ones who lived 900 years, because ourselves we couldn't really remember further back than that, or somebody censored and decided not to put that other kind of information into the smart book. But at some point we put on a wristwatch and it goes tuck, 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 tuck. This is not regular. I couldn't be regular if I tried like totally perfectly, but somehow these wristwatches could be pretty in like a very regular text. And I wonder if listening to some of this AI music, which is some of it is just amazing, but AI generated music needs to have the element of heart variability in it. It needs to be programmed. If you're a musician or you know one who makes that music, tell them please to program into it that no beat is ever, that on a micro level, not one beat must ever equal any other beat length in the same piece of music. So that there is heart variability type of thing in the music. Too subtle, you don't need to detect it. We can't our heart seems to be beating. We can't detect with our ears terribly much our heart variability. Sometimes, yeah, you can hear it racing or not, but the absolute, you know what I mean. So it would be well for us to not listen to maybe too much music that has this very regular, totally like regular beat. But this is just me thinking out loud. Maybe it does nothing to us because we have final jurisdiction, right? So, okay, cancel everything I just said. Um, but maybe that clock, that ticking clock on our wrists. I remember when I was a kid hearing like you shouldn't be wearing a ticking wristwatch. Not good for you. Um, 1260 doesn't have to be altogether erased, and as far as I think right now it's valuable. You can say let's meet for coffee at 3 p.m. That's all right. And to have a measuring device that says but on the other hand, to understand, well, now it's 12, I want to be there by 3. If this 3 hours, if I understand, but it's just an agreed upon, we've just agreed that the alignment in space when we're going to meet, it's at this coffee shop at 3 p.m. It's a coordinate. How we get there, how long it takes us to get there, how much we get to do in between here and there, what distances we traverse. And I'm not speaking about the direct going from here to there. I might take a million steps going from here to all over other places before I'm there at 3. So that's like all open. That's an open field. It's a stretchable open field, and that's such a radical. That's a radical paradigm shift. Radical. So amazing. I mean, my mind is now taking this really extreme, saying, what if there's 3 years in between? If I can fill 3 years into these 3 hours, and we do this all the time, not on that extreme, but like sometimes you have a few hours or a few days pass, and you think like, oh my god, this feels like weeks or months. Or like in the case of a few hours, it feels like a lot more hours. Or the other way around. That is really perception. our perception of things. Anyway, yeah. Wish us a beautiful, ah, wonderful day, liberating ourselves from aligning ourselves with fill in the blanks so that the blocks release themselves. The trusting the intelligence of life to reorganize itself, and my interference being only needed where I want to interfere because it's fun, because I enjoy it, because the process of working it out and doing it blue hand is actually good or enjoyable or chosen or a preference of mine. I might like to fix my car myself, so I do it. I might not like to fix my car myself. I might not know how to fix my car, so I take it to someone who does. And hopefully I take it to someone who enjoys fixing cars and not someone who says, I do this because I need money, but I hate it. And if my ego envisions a world where people do the things they do because they actually enjoy them, maybe not in a level on a level of 9 to 5. It's like I take my car to my car mechanic. My car mechanics, they work when they want to, when they enjoy it. But they enjoy it enough that it's reliable. It's not like, I'm going to just take in 3 weeks off. You get your car whenever. No, that doesn't work. That is not a win-win. That is not alignment with everything. If there's someone works like that, then they will get the clients who say, yeah, fix that car. Have 3 others. Take your time. Do it whenever you feel like it. Or that mechanic says, I come and I work in that other guy's workshop whenever I feel like it. And that guy's like, yeah, come. You work by me whenever you feel like it. I have enough people here, but there's always space for an extra hand. So when you come, it's good. Get the jobs done quicker. Every customer of mine is happy when the job is done quicker. But I'm calculating with 3 guys. If you come in as a 4th guy or girl, then that's cool. Welcome. Like there's always an elegant solution for everything as far as I'm concerned. Yellow star. So as we're starting to vibrate, these 3 or 6, they start vibrating the others. So then the yellow star starts vibrating. Like, oh yeah, how do we create the harmony between all the different systems? You're vibrating 3 and 6. I'm vibrating 3 and 6. Together we start vibrating, and then the star gets activated. And that's what happens in my body cells. And at some point, there is a who decides that Tatiana wants to have a body, or that there wants to be a body called Tatiana. Who is the I that informs these stem cells to form this body? Who informed these parents to fall in love with each other, to even meet, to fall in love, to make love, to create this? Who is the informer to inform their parents before them? Where does this timeline start that ends up in this? It's easy to say coincidence. That's the lazy way out as far as I'm concerned. But it's so funny because materialists criticize, atheistic materialists, some criticize religious thinking and the thought about God, and they say, you guys using this God thing to explain what you can't explain. That's weak. Meantime, they themselves use coincidence to explain what they can't explain. How strong is that? And why is that more real? That's a choice they make. Like, I don't see you, therefore you don't see me. Anyway, never mind. Each to their own. And it's great. We can all be on the same planet at the same time. Isn't that amazing? You can have people here who function completely differently, or who see the world completely differently. And yet when it's too different, you can't meet. You can't see each other. And yet we're still forming this great big world, this great big human world. And maybe together with whatever other forces we co-create Gaia and this earth, and then this whole universe. And then there are how many of them? I love it. All right, now we've really eagled our way up up to the edge of the universe and looked out at the infinity of other universes, and we're perched on the edge of the universe, like on a branch, totally content, purring like a cat, or totally not content, uneasy to think which universe do we want to dive into. It doesn't matter who decides. Sometimes it's just easier not to make a decision. I'm telling you. Okay. Um, Let joy be what decides, and let joy be fueled by peace. Peace and joy are like eagle and seed, like warrior and serpent and wizard, like eagle and seed and world bridger, like sun and dragon and storm, like you and you and you, like you and me and us. Ah, yeah, okay. I wish us a beautiful day full of joy, and wherever we meet our resistance, maybe remain or stay curious. And I wish us insights that make us go, oh, wow, I never realized. I wish us the joy of insight, because the joy of insight to me is like one of the most deliciousest joys. All right. I'll see you, speak to you. I'll be here tomorrow. Oh.